So you want to pilot your favorite airplanes in Microsoft Flight Simulator using a shared cockpit with a friend? Well, no worries, we got you covered. Now you can experience the thrill of sharing the workload like real pilots do in Microsoft Flight Simulator. All you need to use is Your Controls, an add-on by SQL32 that comes for free. Link is in the video description. Your Controls gives you the opportunity to share your cockpit with a friend and fly different airplanes in Microsoft Flight Simulator, including the A320NX mod by Flybywire, the stable and development version. The list is growing as other aircrafts, especially airliners, take a bit more time to get implemented with the mod, but hopefully soon we will be able to fly them in a shared cockpit mode. Now let's start the setup. Once you enter the GitHub page, scroll down to download the add-on. Click on the installer text and save the zip archive somewhere on your PC. Then we open and extract the files. Once that is done, we need to install the tool. Double-click on the installer. You will be greeted with a release version and also more information about the release notes. Then the installer should already find your community folder for Microsoft Flight Simulator and assign a directory for where the program to be installed to. Then we have some options to choose depending on which type of modules we use. I choose to add a desktop shortcut and a clean install. After getting ready, we can hit install. As I already did that, let's move on. We are going to access the program now. Here we are greeted with two columns. The left one is for the user that wants to join a shared cockpit, and the right one is for the ones that want to host it. We get some settings for the active aircrafts where we can select what aircraft we will fly. Next, the username and the update rate that is set by default to 30. And last but not least, the timeout timer for how many seconds to try to connect to the server, also set to 5 by default. Now before we do anything here, we need to enter the sim and make sure that both users are using the same version of the airplane, the same location and same mods for everything to run smooth. Also, make sure you have the same fuel and payload. You choose the same spot for departure, including the gate number. We managed to set live weather, and they recommend to turn traffic and multiplayer to off. So once you are in the cockpit of your aircraft, let's return to the program panel. As the one who makes the server, I will choose a username. The active aircraft will be the A320NX by Flybywire mod. And we tested that setting 40 Hz update rate gives us the best experience without crashes. I will save the settings. Also make sure that the host settings are on V4 and cloud server. And now we can start. Once the server is started, the host will get a session ID that needs to be communicated to the connecting user. Like that, he can join in our session. Once the user is connected, he will show in the client list as Observer. Now the host needs to click on the Observer button in order to let them use any switches in the aircraft. And now some things to know. Both users are recommended to turn off crash physics as there can be some desync issues. For the FMC or similar devices, it is recommended that only one person should interact with it at a time. For example, one person flies while the other one fills out the flight plan. You should not be filling out the flight plan at the same time. Or one person adjusts the transponder while the other one zooms out the map. This is to avoid desynchronization issues. Now, in order to give active controls of the yoke, throttle and other functions, you have a reserve button called Give Control in the mod panel. For example, you want to let the co-pilot control the manual landing as you switch roles before the approach. This is a lot of fun and can be very helpful to study emergency procedures. Last week, Hip Games was invited by one of our dear users to participate in a 70-minute session at FlightX Simulator. It was a great experience to fly the A320 in a full-scale cockpit. The instructor took us through many emergency procedures and different system malfunctions during the flight, like autopilot issues, busy runway and hold patterns, bad weather, and even an APU fire emergency during landing. It was quite intense, and we will definitely do it again. So we set on the idea to continue this experience in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Like this, we end up using Your Controls, and it's definitely an experience to have with your friends. Now, if you need more support with the mod, or you just want to fly with us, join our How I Play Discord. Link is in the video description. And before you go, please take a moment to leave a like, as it helps the YouTube algorithm and makes our channel grow even larger. And if you want to stay informed with the latest news on your favorite simulators and games, consider to subscribe. That's it, remember to fly safe, and I'll see you next time.